Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Landscape Marketing Secrets, now featured on YouTube. So now you can see my guests, and you can also see the fact that the microphone is too high for me and I have to hold it down. Harold being 5 feet tall. Anyway, my guest today is my husband and business co-owner, Matt Reale. Hi, Matt.
Woo!
And we're going to talk about the secret to keeping employees. Now, you know what's going to happen with this, right?
Yeah.
We're going to do it and like someone's going to leave.
Well, I'm knocking on wood.
Okay, me too. So no, I don't think they are. We have a pretty happy staff right now. So we're going to try to give some advice. What I hear over and over and over on the Landscape Business Owners page, and to a smaller extent to the CAC page, is nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. I don't think that's true. What do you think?
No, I there's people that want to work.
Yeah, you just have to pay them well and treat them right, which I guess is part of paying them well. But I recorded this podcast the other day and then I didn't like it because I missed a whole bunch of stuff. So I decided to do it with you, partially because today when we're filming this is Mother's Day. And this was one of my presents was you had to do a podcast with me.
Yep, that's right.
And cool earrings. And Jersey Mall and Jersey Pizza. We had a whole day.
It was a Jersey day.
It was a Jersey day.
Trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I'm good now, but it was fun. And now I'm done back in PA. So anyway, when I recorded this the first time, one of the things I mentioned was a story about Rachel, our daughter, who, as you know, drives me bonkers, but I love her. So my friend just came into town, Stacy, who I've been friends with. God, we figured it out a really long time. I don't even want to say. And it reminded me when Rachel was 2, Stacy, who lives in Pittsburgh, and she's a pediatrician. She's still a practicing doctor, but now she works in insurance. But anyway, so I kept telling her there's something wrong with Rachel. There's something wrong. Do you remember this? Do you remember what her answer was? Probably not.
No.
The answer was me. The problem was me.
Oh, yeah, I remember that part.
So, and I remember going to therapy and talking about Rachel, and I'm like, she's like, nope, that one's you. Nope, that one's still you. So my point is, and why I told this too long story is because every employer does this and they always blame everything on the employee when 90% of the time, I will say at least 50%, the problem is them. Do you agree with that? Yeah.
Yes, I do.
He's nodding. We talked about nodding.
I'm sorry, nodding.
That's okay.
But now I can see you.
Yeah, but some people are just listening. Oh, right. Yeah. Well, anyway.
Okay.
So yeah, at least half the problem is the employer. And so Matt and I have learned a lot this year by working with our business coach. We've been with her just a little over a year now. And one of the hard truths we learned was it wasn't our employees. It was us. So one of the first things we learned with her that I want to talk to you about, Matt, is we learned that we were hiring the wrong people. And part of that was, I used to joke, but I took it way too seriously, was we'd hire anyone that was breathing.
Yeah.
And part of this is, it's not fully our fault because I felt like we just weren't getting any leads. And we had an ad in Indeed. We tried everything. We put it in the newsletter. We talked to friends. We told people. We put it on local job boards. We went to did we go to some, we tried to get in with Saul. Like we tried to get into these high schools, these tech schools. We've tried a lot. And for some reason in the past year, so I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. And the one employee who didn't find us, or we knew right now, came from Indeed. So one of the first things I want to talk about before we get to the employees that found us, which is very cool. We were hiring, and I'm not going to name names, but last year in particular, we just took some, what are you looking at?
My plants.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, sorry. I know you look like you're a cat chasing a fly. Anyway, we hired a bunch of people just because I was so freaked out and desperate. And one guy, I still feel terrible. He left his job. He had been with there for a while. You had known him forever, but we kept trying to make these people into what they weren't.
Yeah, I agree.
And why do you think that failed?
We're basically trying to force somebody. It's like you're forcing a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah. And then we'd get annoyed when they weren't what we wanted them to be.
Yeah, we get mad, and then we start, we get mad and tell them what they need to do, and then they try, but it's not really working. Like, it's like, maybe this isn't working.
So that's the number one thing I want to talk about is, and I get it. It's hard. So keep your crappy employee while you look for good ones, but you got to keep looking. So, yeah, once we realized that the people we had, well, wow, all three of them, we kept Josh. That was it from last spring. Yeah, but we love Josh and he's awesome. So the other three just weren't good fits. And in the past where and one of them we did keep too long, but in the past we would have made the same mistake we made before, which is keeping them forever or keeping them till they leave or we fired them and everybody was pissed. But our business coach really helped us see that these weren't the right people for us. And one of the problems we were having is we didn't have a good ad. So do you remember the time we spent with her having to like redo our ad over and over? Or did you block that out? You blocked it out.
We've had so many ads and so many, I
know.
Like,
so it's a shame because I'd shared this one. Oh, not the ad. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, the ad and the interview questions. So she helped us with both because she helped us with the ad to see that I forget. So don't quote me on this, but it had to the person had to see themselves in the position before we talked about us. And because too many people started an ad with we, you're like, I'm not a we yet. Ha, not a we yet. Get it? So, you don't get it because you're not laughing. Anyway, it's a late. He doesn't get it. So we were, both the ad wasn't good and then the questions we had weren't good. And again, the questions we were asking were the questions we wanted answered. Like we were basically leading the conversation into making them a great employee. And that doesn't work. Do you remember that? It was terrible.
Yeah.
And now it's, a whole different set of questions that I can't find, but I don't know where the heck they went, but I'm still going to look and I know people are going to ask me after this podcast and I'm happy to share them if I can find them. So go ahead and send me a text and remind me to look. Not you, Matt, anyone else who's listening, not you. Okay. So that's step number one is having the wrong employees. Step number two, Matt, do you remember why Patrick, one of the main reasons he told us he left besides the fact that he got a new job that paid a lot?
Communication.
Yeah.
He said he didn't know where he was going from certain days. There was a lot of confusion a lot of times with scheduling and things like that.
And I'll bet 90% of the people that have employee issues right now, this is part of their problem.
I know exactly that's the reason why he left. I could just tell. I did.
He told me.
But after he said that, I sat down and looked at it. I was like, okay, yeah. I can see why he did that.
And he was a great employee. And we, again, we would have lost him anyway because he came to us, well, maybe, but I'm trying to convince myself. He came to us when he was 18 for a summer job, stayed on and wanted to try other things. So it was on great terms. He just left at a stressful time for us last year. But so Matt's word of the year is communication and mine is systems. Both of those things help employees. Do you agree, Matt? I have to ask you if you agree a lot because you just look at me like, yeah. Matt's used to me talking all the time.
You just talk. So I wait for you to address me, then I talk.
Okay, good to know. So yeah, we have really. So Matt, what are some of the ways we've changed the communication?
Well, first of all, we have weekly meetings.
Yeah.
Which has helped you communicate with the guys more. One thing else I'm trying to do is trying to plan the weeks better. So there's no confusion on where they're going the next day, unless we have an emergency, have to change things on a whim, but they have more of an idea. They can look at their schedule a week out and know where they're doing for the next week, where in the past, I was just basically dropping people in on the fly at times. And it really was confusing. It was confusing.
Stressful.
For me.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to have lulls in your schedule. You want to produce.
No, I get it.
You drop somebody in not thinking, what's going to have that guy get done today? Is he getting done tomorrow? Is he getting done when's he getting done? So that's where the confusion set in with Patrick. And I think now the guys have more of a finite, they can see what's going on.
So we're using Jobber better. And also on our weekly meetings, we always talk about upcoming work.
Yeah. And also what I've been doing too is even when we're at the shop, we just discuss jobs more. So they have a better idea when they go somewhere. They're not going completely blinded.
Okay.
Like Tyler and I talk every Sunday evening now with his plan for the week. So I can tell him of anything.
Tyler's our maintenance manager.
So I can tell him what I see might be, hey, these may be too big in one day to do. this one's kind of far from this, like just giving him so he can kind of see it. And he knows already if there's a problem going to occur. So like he's in the know before like, oh, that's not going to work tomorrow at the last
And
minute.
then I also talk to him every Friday. So it's awesome. I didn't talk to him for a while. Then I realized he especially really needs those talks because he needs, he's young. He needs reassurance. He's doing an awesome job. But when both of us were really busy and we assumed things. And when you assume things, there isn't unity at work, and if no one feels comfortable, they don't see their future there. And that leads me to the next thing is we now have very, very specific job descriptions that tell you what you need to do to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And why do you think that one was important?
Because now they can see themselves growing with the company.
Yeah.
Whereas before, like, I mean, years ago, we talk about one of the employees that left that, he didn't really like. He had no idea where he was going. No, I'm being dead serious. He always ask, like, what's my future here?
Yeah.
And we just didn't have a finite plan. And now we actually have, hey, here's your trajectory goal. Here's where you can be in X time. So they can see it and follow it from there.
And that's another huge thing is everyone needs to know where they're going. And, we had a great yearly review with our employee, Josh, and he told us in 5 years, he could see himself being a foreman and running his own crew. And we think it'll happen even before that. So yeah, Matt's, yeah. So it is really important for people to feel like it's a career, not just a job. And I remember with Dallas is the one employee we actually we found on Indeed this year that worked. And do you remember what his request is to you as a boss, what he didn't want you to do to him? Ah, come on.
Wait, charge him for things he breaks or
no, spit in his face.
God.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, ask him tomorrow. But he's just like, yeah, I'm looking for a boss that doesn't spit in my face or charge me for stuff that broke. So yeah, Dallas, and what's amazing is we just had our son's bar mitzvah and all of our employees were there and they all had an awesome time and they all lifted you in the chair. And, our big mantra is family run company. And I want them all to feel like, a member of our dysfunctional family. And that doesn't mean family doesn't always stay, but, we all respect each other right now. And that's the next thing I want to go into is you and I, but especially me, learned a hard lesson this fall when it came to judging people. And we both got our asses handed to us by our coach because you and I were judging employees, their decisions, and their families. And one of the issues was one of our employees who we kept trying to fix and tried to fix for 18 years. He came back. He had personal issues that got in the way of his job. But instead of you and I just looking at the job part, we were judgmental and had comments about the personal issues. She made us both feel like crap, didn't she?
Yeah, it's hard when you're such a small company not to like think about their lives and how like if they changed one thing, how it would change. But like, yeah, we could change it with art, but it's like it's
not our business is what we learned.
Yeah, it really is.
And that has, and they had one employee in particular that we're like, I don't know if he's going to work. He doesn't live in a great neighborhood. And coach is like, who gives a crap? Like, what's that on your business? I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. And he's worked out great. I'm not saying which one, but but just, having respect and realizing the only place. So we were allowed to comment on this employee when he didn't show up to work. And we gave him 3 strikes. Then we for no call, no show. And we were actually liked him so much. We gave him a 4th. I felt so bad for his kids.
I did too.
But we ended up sponsoring their Christmas. But in the end, it's our business. You know what finally did it for us is when another employee fell and almost got hurt or did get hurt because this employee wasn't there to be part of a 2-man crew. And once, so that's the other thing is you have to respect your employees by seeing who they're working with. And this is someone you and I, stupidly kept around too much and everyone else had a lot of complaints and issues.
But like we truly liked this individual like a lot. And we really felt bad for everything. And he really, truly was trying. But his home life was just keeping him from being that employee. And it was hurting. All the other guys started to feel it when he didn't show up because we had to work harder to get something done. Because he didn't show, or we waited till 8 o'clock and he didn't come in and we lost an hour.
Yeah.
So It was tough, but it was a very tough decision to make. And I still don't like the fact that I had to do that because I saw the potential there, but at the same time, like,
Yeah, you can't. We're like you said, we're a small company. We don't have time. I mean, no one has time. No company's going to sit there and, let someone repeatedly be late and no show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and no
I
call.
agree.
So and we offered him 4 days a week. I mean, we gave him way too many options. But anyway, I'm not going to dwell on that. But the point is, so I think we just talked about, let me see if I can remember. I think we discussed 4 things so far. The first one was, don't try to make an employee into something they're not.
Yep.
The second one was ask the right questions, have the right ad and ask the right questions. The third one was communicate with your employees and have them know where they're going and what's their future is. And the fourth one is don't judge your employees on their personal lives. And, and then the fifth one is pay them well.
I have something
can't.
to add on there
Oh,
too.
go ahead. I was wondering if you had another one, please.
I have something to add. Trust.
Yeah.
Trusting them. And another guy that we rent from at another company, we talk a lot, and we talk about the one big thing that even he found was a problem was the micromanagement. He's like, if you can just trust your guys to go do something, give them that trust without hovering over them, they'll tend to produce better when they feel they're not being watched all the time.
No, I agree. And Heather tells us that too.
They may do things you don't agree with, but if you just let them do it and just look at the end result, like if you get the end result out of it, that's what you want. When you hover over guys, they feel like they're always being watched. They don't feel comfortable to just do their job.
All right. So 2 points on that. First of all, what's your favorite style of management? What do you call that?
What? Oh, seagull management, right?
Yeah. Yep. And why is that?
Wait, what is it? Because you fly in,
you hover over a place, you shit all over it, and you leave.
Love seagull management.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. And then one of our employees actually told you that you make him nervous when you're there.
He literally I just could tell it was. I'm like,
yeah.
First he said we were working way too hard, and I agree we were, because we were like on, and I was gelling, and I didn't want this job going more than a certain amount of time. And in the end, we both realized we were just killing ourselves. And then I could tell he had this look on his face and like of unsure about things. And he just flat out told me, he's like, man, you just make me nervous being around. I'm like,
well, he's got a whole month of you. So
I'm like, wow. Okay. Well, sorry, dude, but you got me, because the other guy's out for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Now he's out for a month. Ugh.
Now he's out for a month.
But that's okay. We know why. And we were looking forward to him coming back. He took a trip to his homeland, basically, and he couldn't pass it up, and we don't blame him. But but that is really important, because at some point, and anyone, as you grow, one of the biggest things you can do is a business can't be reproducible if you're the only one who thinks you're doing it right.
Yeah.
Because then things die with that business, with that person.
You have to be willing to let it completely go and put blind trust into the guys. And I tell you what, it's worked.
And sometimes you don't like the result, but as you say, the client loves it.
No, right now I love the result. They really think about every little, like, they just think about things that I wouldn't do. Like, I wouldn't have done things their way. I'm like, I really like what you did. Like, I would have done it differently, but I like I love what you did.
And that leads us to our 6th point, and perhaps the final point, is to offer training, offer support. Yeah. I had 2 of our guys, plus our office manager, customer service manager, Sandy. They all went to Aquascape University in the past year or 2 years. So, and then I'll send the other 2 next year. So and we took them all to Pond Camp. We took them all to Business Boot Camp. We're taking them again to Pond Camp. Yes, Matt, you got your hand raised.
We talked about training. So what we actually did was we did a couple training sessions at our shop.
Yeah.
Basic thing was lighting. Even though a lot of the lighting we run into with our pond installations is kind of plug and play, they didn't know how to properly wire anything up. So we took a half day with all the guys when we could have been working, and we sat down. I had them film me going over different lighting styles with, wired in transformers, plug and play. 2 weeks after that, they all came and thanked me for doing it because they all learned something because they were all able to do things they ran into.
And that's, I mean, right there. So
for,
we're making happy employees by educating and informing them to make their own decisions better.
And they're really doing a good job with it. Like one guy is like, I mean, I'm like, dude, this is clean, like really clean work, like really clean, like cleaner than I would do it.
All right, I lied. There's one more point, and then I swear I'm done. Boy, we could just keep going. But notice, none of these points are really the employees. They're all us. They're us making changes to how we lead our business. And we're the leaders. And, you know, you get what you give, man, unfortunately. And if all your employees are like, you know, you think they're losers, then guess what they're going to be for you.
Also, too, like I try to make sure I'm always available to help.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they need help with something, I tell them to call me.
Yeah.
I can try to find a way to help. Like I don't want them to feel like I'm out. You can't call me. Like
wait, you just made another point when I was supposed to make the final point. But okay, I see your point though. I'll allow that one.
Make your point now.
Thanks. No, I forget. Every day of my life. Where's those
vitamins at?
Oh, wait, it's going to come to me. Oh my God, I completely forgot my final point. I guess we'll make, I remember. Okay. So, one of our employees you went to high school with a long time ago.
Yeah.
And 3 of our employees, and the weirdest thing that's ever happened to us, all found us.
Yeah.
And one of them, when I talked about this earlier, the podcast I didn't put up, 2 things I want to mention real quick with that is 2 of the ways they found us is one guy, they all went to Penn State, which was awesome, for 2 of them for aquatics and biology and 1 for psychology, which are all great things. But Tyler has mentioned that he looked on our website. He was looking for a pond company and went to us and a couple other people's websites, and we called him back because we got Sandy, our customer service manager, on it, and she saw the email or the phone call and she got right back in touch with them. And we did not need an employee right then. It was the end of summer, and or it was it was August. So it's a time we usually would never hire, but we really liked him. And so that's important, is to make sure everything is up to date and looking good, because you want to look like a good company if you want good employees. They want to be somewhere professional. They want branded shirts. We also, oh my God, I have so many more points. We also take them on outings. We have made it a huge effort to get to know people's significant others. And because if your significant other is happy with where you work, you're a lot more likely to be happy too. And we just went, as Matt knows, 2 weeks ago to the ball game. And we took our entire team to the Phillies game. We paid for everything. We paid for their one guy's stepdaughter. And we gave them all a food allowance and parking. And I think everyone had a great time.
And like 2 of them had never been to a ball game before.
Which is, wow. Lucky them. Just kidding. Everyone had a good time but me. I was pretty cranky. There was no food I could eat there. So, and then the other one found us. He was the son of our plant grower. And I don't know exactly, but part of me thinks that he must have liked you when you came in. Like, had you ever met him when you went in there?
No.
Oh, never mind.
I never saw him.
Remember, we're still on film as you scratch your back.
Sorry.
He doesn't care. Anyway.
I don't care.
Well, then how did he? Well, he must have heard our name from his dad. I mean, we were his clients for a long time.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he reached out to us. And again, that was like November. And you really don't need to hire someone in November.
No.
But we didn't want to lose them. So we took him too. So maybe that's my final. That was my 3rd final piece of advice. If you can afford it, don't lose people, even if it's not the busiest time. And I get it. If you don't have the money, don't pay someone. But, we had the money. We could do this because we worked so hard to save during the year that we were able to float payroll for everyone. And that's my final piece of advice. Pay people all year round. If you can, and some people are used to unemployment and they like that, but our employees, and I get that, in order for them to have careers, families, relationships, whatever, they need to know their jobs are secure. If you want grownups, you got to treat them like grownups and pay them like grownups.
They need time off. They need to take care of their stuff. So
Yep. So that health insurance, everyone has health insurance now, and we pay a huge chunk of it for everyone. So these are all steps to making people, mature. So I hope this really helps people. I do. We've learned a lot. I'm glad we were able to share how we learn to keep, and even like I said, if we lose one of these guys, it's not going to be for those reasons. It would be something I think out of our control. So, I mean, I'm sure there's always things we can do better. I don't want to say that, and not good, not good. But right now we have a great relationship with each employee. We respect them and we're working towards them all growing. So thank you, Matthew Reale, for my Mother's Day gift of a podcast. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. My pleasure, my lady.
There you go. And I'm sure I'll find you again soon for another podcast. You're just one floor down.
Okay. I'm always here.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful week. And as always, now you can find me on YouTube, Landscape Marketing Secrets. Matt's going to go check it out right now. Go. Just kidding. He's pretending to type it. And please comment, like, share, and listen to my podcast. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.